Let's see what happens. Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.co's weekend offering. I think I'm presenting it to everyone. It says you are screen sharing and presenting to everyone. So I think I'm doing it right. I'm so bad at managing these things, but we didn't do a show earlier today. I was all busy. Of course, it's a new calendar year, and everybody's talking taxes right now. So I spent a ton of time talking with accountants and trying to figure out what the tax situation is going forward. Somebody says, "What's up, Brian?" I don't know, man. What's up, Brian? You're Brian Zaos. Am I pronouncing that right? Xaos. Cool name. Evil Ferris. Hey, Evil Ferris. Are you so I go, Ferris Bueller, you're my hero. Is that the same Ferris? Is yours? Are you still on? Anyway, and now I'm see a bunch of people over on YouTube, and I'm pronounced chaos. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I guess so, eh? Oh yeah. Oh, cool. Anyway, welcome. So I see you guys over there. Hey Borg, nice to see you, bud. Hope things are going well in the Netherlands. I think I saw something about you on the site anyway. Great to see. We have quite a few people in the lounge here Sunday evening. So it's about 7 o'clock. I just got back from Liam. I just did a bit of doubles. It's nice. Yes, definitely. And where's Paul? We gotta really record that. We need to get Tanja again. And then we need to bang out a couple of really good sound bites there, right? Like doubles, it's nice. So Paul, if you listen to that later on, grab that sound bite, because that's actually my new tag. I put on all the. I'm just blabbing away like a schoolgirl here, Center. But great to see you, man. And I love that name, man. Like, that's a power name. If I was going to go into a brokerage house and I was going to look through a list of the brokers that I'd want, Santor Reinhold. There's a fucking name. Okay, I want that guy as my broker. He's going to get the deal done. I love that name. It's such a cool name. So anyway, great to see you, Slick. Totally called you out. I bet you weren't expecting that. We have lots of fun on this site. A heads up to everybody, though. Please understand, we are transitioning to the new site, and it's literally I'm like a chicken kind of running around without a head right now. So it's a little bit chaotic. We had the API data that we were getting to update the crypto page went a little bit crazy on OneCoin ZCL. And it was like reporting that we had like 10 ZCL. But we, as you guys have been seeing here, we've just been slowly taking profits as ZCL's been working its way up. So we didn't. So I asked just Stewart to go and just manually reduce that from the reporting because it was just simply inaccurate. And that sent this number into a major tizzy. And I've been posting the actual data numbers. There's something wrong with this API. We're up into the 40s on BTC anyway. Just bear with us. The guys, they're not really taking a look at this page too much in detail right now because all of them, it's incredible. They're all just like laser beam focused, getting the new site up and launched. And I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, new sites, it'll just drag on for months. But I'm like, serious, like these guys are like, this thing's launching now. So with that said, especially new people that have just joined the site and you're just like, holy crap, information overload. You've actually caught us midstream here a little bit. So just bear with us. All you YouTubers and Google people and Twitter and stuff, don't worry about anything that I'm talking about right now. Just tune me out. This is more just site admin stuff. Great to see, speaking of which, great to see the participation in the lounge. Great to see. I mean, at any given point, we've got a good 100, 150 people in the lounge, and we're all working so great together to really leverage each other and really work together. And I noticed a couple other people were mentioning that they were getting I think it was Andrew, I'm not sure, but he was getting so proficient with the bot. He's like, man, I want to start doing some tutorials on this. And I was just like, wow, that is so cool. So on the new site kind of thing, you're going to be able to, produce those kind of materials and stuff and, create a following for yourself. So Oh, it's so awesome the way that this is all integrating together to all help us kick ass together. So just bear with us. It's a major headache right now transitioning to the new site. And of course, it doesn't help that the silly crypto market's going crazy right now as this is happening. I have been manually keeping track of the portfolios and posting that on a daily basis for anybody who's like, yeah, but I want to, I actually have people going, Brian, I totally measure the sentiment of the market based on how that portfolio is trading and what it's doing. So I have been manually keeping track. Let's see, where the hell is it? It's over here somewhere. Manually keeping track of how the portfolio is doing. But I see that I don't have that right in front of me. So I'll have to probably take a look at that another day. But anyway, I post it basically in the lounge on a morning basis, just so you you have the information. So just an FYI. As well too, there's a problem with this API reporting. It's only reporting Trex fills. So you're seeing a lot of activity, and I mean, it's like I said, the market's just going absolutely nuts here. I'm not really doing much buying right now. It's a bit orgy-esque. It's a bit insane. I'm spoon feeding like crazy, and I think our old record, TRI's old record for doubles in a day was 13, lucky 13. And I think we got up to 11, 12, if I'm not mistaken, there yesterday, or day before. It's like daily, every single day. And it's incredible to watch the rotation. One day, remember you guys, did any of you guys participate on the Altcoin rally? I mean, that was just nuts. They all lifted in unison. And I remember I even had Joshua. Just a shout out if you do happen to meet Joshua. Do you have like a public Twitter handle or something like that? It's beautiful to watch this guy in operation. He's very quickly learned the craft. There he is. I don't even know what the heck that says. The Joshua MCG, haha, or is it the Joshua MCG? Anyway, I'm just going to post it on the, can I do that on this YouTube page here? I'm just going to post it on the YouTube page there. Anybody who's watching on YouTube or whatever, he's a site member and he's on the lounge and stuff. And, it's just, he bought into the idea of hunting gaps. And, for people who are watching on Twitter and Google and Facebook or whatever, we actually, it's in his honor that we created recently a whole new class of crypto trader. Obviously there's other people that are trading in the market, but let's see if I can quickly find it. Basically, this Joshua gentleman, and I just posted his I think that's his Twitter handle. I'm not even quite sure. But we a while ago, I'm not even quite sure, I posted out this cute little demon gap, crypto gap hunter. Here he is here, right? I actually created this in his name because he was so fucking good at this. I mean, he built the whole spreadsheet. He came up with the levels, and he was just knocking the cover off the ball. And hats off to you, dude. So if you want to follow him on Twitter, whatever, I mean, this is the kind of thing where our new website, Joshua, I'm going to give you a venue for you to actually build your own following. And I would subscribe to your newsletter. You're that good, right? So hey, you can see Joshua's spreadsheet. I have it on here. So if you do see one of these crypto gap hunter kind of icons, that's the guy I'm actually talking about. So anybody on YouTube, whatever, if you want to follow him. And yeah, if you've seen these notes and you're going, geez, that's awfully weird. Well, that's our Joshua. So cool. And I love it because really, and it's interesting because, this is the bottom line. And I'm never going to build myself as a computer expert. Never. And everybody's like, yeah, right. Of course, Brian. Yeah, that's not me. I mean, I'm pretty good at human psychology. I'm pretty good at, just because I've done it so long, I'm pretty good at just simple, building plans to manage money. and building supports to help you follow your plan. And I think a lot of people find a lot of value in knowing me around that kind of stuff. I happen to have, quite a bit of market experience. So I've seen a lot of stuff before. So in that regard, very little I see in the market is anything really new to me. It's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, I've seen that, whatever. I think people find a lot of value in that. I'm never going to build myself as a computer expert. What I think I am really good at, and I don't know why, but I seem to have the flair of conversation, and I'm fairly articulate in expressing ideas and concepts. So those are bonuses. And if anything, I had this vision, especially after my wife passed, but I had this vision of creating this community where we could all work together and really help each other, right? Really make a difference in this world. And I see it on a daily basis. It's absolutely poetic. I don't have to listen. I mean, you guys need to understand on a daily bloody basis. I mean, what a problem to have on a daily basis every single day. Oh my God, Brian, you changed my life. Thank you. Oh God, you're just the best. If you ever come to here, you got a place to stay. You got to. It's just, and it's poetic, and it just fills my heart. It's so awesome. But the point here is, what I'm trying to say is that Brian is really good at this sort of fostering PMA, all that kind of fun stuff, conveying good ideas, good concepts, sound business management, self-management, behavioral management, whatever you want to call it. I've actually sort of left the building of the new site because, frankly speaking, I'm no computer expert. I don't know what the fuck. Okay, fine, do that. I've left it in Julian and Sjord and Michael's hands so far, and we have a few other people on the team that are building this thing out. This thing it's gonna literally, it's stunning. So I'm as much of an eager anticipated person to get a hold of the site and experience this new experience as much as all of you guys. And I know you are PMing me and stuff. Okay, when's the school gonna start? When's the site? I'm just as eager as all of you guys. And I'm just, same thing I say to them, I'll say to you guys, we're in Julian and Sjord and Michael's hands. I love trading, and of course, if I see a trade idea, I will definitely convey that to you. And of course, as the school, the level 2 and level 3 invites have gone out, so in essence, they are in the stream. Just an FYI to the level 2 and level 3ers, we're going, because I wanted to just get you guys up in the stream and going. We're going to basically work off of the old platform. For the new level 1ers, because it's the automated program, we're in Julian, Sjord, Michael's hands. As soon as the new site's ready to go, then basically the new level 1 course kicks in. So, basically we're all in their hands. The level 2 and level 3ers, level 2, your first class is this coming Saturday. Level 3, 2 weeks from now, of course. We're going to do it at a little bit slower pace, give you guys lots of time to digest the material. And also, too, Raf mentioned this, and I thought it was actually just an absolutely brilliant idea. There's no reason why you guys can't come together, and if you want to sort of use your tutorial time collectively to work in like small groups. I know there seems to be some sort of power collective building in the United Kingdom there. So there's like about 4 or 5 of them that are all sort of coming together, gelling. I think, Keith, aren't you in that collective? Anyway, I know you're out of Australia though. So, and I love that. I mean, I just love that sort of, they have like a little like fraternal class. They're all buddies. They've all grown and learned and prospered together, and they're like linked at the hip. It's just beautiful. So, hats off to you guys. So you guys are off and running level 2, level 3ers. All level 3ers and alumni, of course, Thomas, and I see, actually, it's funny. I got Tom and Thomas side by side. You guys, you're welcome to crash any class you want. Just let me know. One other thing I wanted to mention before I get going here was, Had a couple inquiries. Because we're making the transition to the site, there's a lot of tools and stuff. Like I had one person that said, I read I'm new, to the site. What the heck should I do? And one of the tools that you made reference to in the video is no longer on the site because we're sort of scaled back all this stuff as we're transitioning. So I apologize for that. Bear with us. My hunch is, and the word is, that by the end of the month, the whole transition is going to be made. So just bear with us through this week or two window here. On a side, Tom, I don't know whether you're okay with this or not. A lot of people asking about your script to help renew orders. I don't know whether I'm allowed. Am I allowed to put that link on the site? I'll ask Tom whether I am. And then also maybe a special project. Can we build a script that will automatically enter in 2 or 3 sell half on a double orders on the execution of a fill? And I'm thinking maybe kind of a fun project for Tom. Maybe, fingers crossed, he might just go, fuck off. I don't know. But I know some of you computer guys who are like super smart coders, you might actually be able to whip it together fairly easily. Anyway, I'm going to throw the ball out there for you. I know Sjord is working away on one for our back end, but he is so absolutely swamped with work right now. I don't want to stress him out with any other requests right now. So, okay, let's get on with market talk and what the hell's going on. And everybody, public who's been watching, and how long have we been ranting here? Anybody running a stopwatch? Is there like a timer or something on this that says you've been talking for 20 minutes too long? Anyway, let's get on with the market stuff here. Do you recommend subscribe and pay to his website? Sorry, Brian. Really, it's up to you, SF Yoram. I don't ever hard sell anything, but the long and short of it is we do about an hour-long video Monday to Friday. We publish all of our trades as best as we can. It's getting really sloppy. And now I'm doing a bunch of trades on things like Cryptopia. I mean, look at this chart, guys. Holy Jesus H Christ, look at that. I got a trade off today. I couldn't believe it. Guess who actually paid off? Let's see. I don't even know if any of you guys have been around long enough to remember this chick. Look what finally paid off. Have any of you been? Thomas, were you around during the Bitcoin Babes days? Were any of you? Paul, were you around? Does anybody remember the Bitcoin Babe? Anyway, her coin finally paid off. Of course, nowhere near where she told us to buy it. But I was tweeting out the other day, can you see this double bottom down here? Do you see how it just, number one, it went absolutely dead, but then all of a sudden, look how we went down here, and it just went down and then up and then down, and it just sat there, right? And then, perk, right, on a nice little volume breakout too. And then it came right down, and it just sat here. And it was actually kind of cool because I had sort of like a running play-by-play because I like to poke fun at her. I think it's kind of funny. But if you follow the Twitter feed here, I don't know where it was. Yeah, here it is. We started off this. Can you see? And this is the really yeah, I know. So Brian doesn't get to have any fun. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'll finish off this thought. Give me another 20 seconds, okay? Thomas is bitching at me here. Start off this conversation. Can you see that little double bottom right here? Can anybody see it? So the point of the matter here is what you actually have to train yourself is you have to see this stuff as it's happening. You can't come after the fact and go, oh yeah, I would have totally done that, right? But we tweeted out that, hey, things are waking up here. This is looking really interesting. And then we tweeted out, yep, she looks like she's waking up. And this was cool because you could actually see the process of the rally underway. And then finally, I would argue this is maybe kind of like the end of the move. We should be taking profits. That was really cool. Totally awesome. So, and yeah, I did sell some. The problem now is that this page is only the Bittrex data. And unfortunately, ironically enough, these are all the coins that Bittrex thought were dead, that were useless. I've actually farmed out a hell of a lot of money out of this. Right now, sitting at 1.4, we've now got 0.18 BTC just sitting there, just twiddling its thumbs. And about 1.25 BTC worth of these alts. And these are all the coins that basically Bittrex had written off. So I highly, highly encourage you, please, don't just, because Bittrex says they're no good or whatever, don't just abandon them. There's still money to be made. And hell, I've got coins over here on Yobit. Oh, I got to log in here. I got like 0.2 BTC over on Yobit. Those are coins that are so bad they won't even be listed on Cryptopia. But it's just really interesting to see this board finally coming to wake here. Really interesting to see. Okay, let's get on with good old Bitcoin. Thomas has pointed out that things are looking a little toppy. The problem we have to ask ourselves here is what's going on in the big picture. And really, I think what I'll do here for this conversation is I'll just sort of stair-step my way down. So weekly chart, we've been talking about this weekly chart ad nauseum. We've been talking lots about 38.2s. We can't really decide the fate of this Bitcoin rally until this is resolved. If anything, this pullback here is everything about let's freak the public out. Let's see if we can get some weak hands that bought up here to panic dump and basically get a nice free trade. Doesn't surprise me one bit. 30, and I remember we talked at length about, well, really, we got to wait for 38.2 to happen. And in fact, when we were up here at like 18, 19,000, you're looking at going, geez, 12,000? Man, that's an awful long way. Bang, done. All right, so we got that out of the way. Now, what do you think is going to happen? I think what has to happen now is we have to go through the very natural process. And what's really cool about this is really what this wants to look like is it kind of wants to look like a triangle. And I've seen this so often. Probably, it should be 50% of this range. And we can go through you can literally do triangles within triangles within triangles within triangles, break down all of the mathematical formulas. I'm just going to eyeball this for our purposes here. But the long and short of it here is we're probably going to see, and it's kind of funny because, I started to put these on the charts and everybody on Twitter starts freaking out and starts saying, I can't believe you went there, Brian. Why did you go there? You shouldn't have gone there. But in essence, the triangle price consolidation is nothing more than the Fibonacci sequence expressed as a spiral. And again, to validate this, and I actually did a bunch of tweets, and I think I put them on the site somewhere a while ago. I actually went through and I'm just totally eyeballing this. You have to go through and do all the triangles and all the angles and stuff. But just basically, the triangle is this Nautilus shell expression of price action. Now, if this is a natural, healthy consolidation in price, then ironically enough, what actually should end up happening is up, then back down. Usually you get some sort of freak out event here, which really freaks everybody out and gets all the noob traders short. And then the damn thing just takes off like a rocket. So we'll see what happens. Only time will tell, right? I think a lot of the range traders, this is why we built this concept called the reload zone. And if we actually go down to the daily charts, you see this as plain as day. We have this concept called the institutional fingerprint or footprint, where basically we can see exactly where the smart money put the top in the market. So we have to understand that there are people that shorted up here, that sold up here, and they really don't really want to see price go any higher. And they may actually come in and defend their shorts up in this area. As well, too, if we think spiral and triangle. we should see, 45-degree angle off of these highs, but I don't think it should be. I think it should be like can't remember exactly what the angle is, but if we do, I think it's 50 degrees. It's somewhere around there. If we do that, all the GAN people, of course, 8-to-1 angles, they're up in this area. We should understand that there's going to be resistance up here. On first blush, we should always, because I worked with this guy for like 3 or 4 years, and every goddamn day he would be in there hitting that 61.8. It's just what he does. And the guy made a lot of money trading crude. We affectionately like to call this level, because it is so significant, the 61.8 fib, the mountain man level. Because it gets hit all the goddamn time. And I mean, we're here to make money from trading, right? That's what we're here to do. So if it gets hit and rejected and we see price move away from it, well, we probably ought to pay attention to that, shouldn't we? Brandon, that's right, Brandon Rigo. It scares me, Sander. Do you know him? He's from Colorado. That's sort of your neck of the woods. Anyway, yeah, if you ever pop on over to Top Step Center, I think you'd actually do really well at Top Step. And I see that they're really pumping out a lot of this sort of like kind of like raw trading material. And I follow them on the Twitter feed. I don't see them all the time, but I do see that they're fairly active. And, we do have a number of our students that have gone over, done combines and stuff. So I'm really proud the fact that we are actually helping them out. But they do a bunch of like morning shows and prep material. Where the hell is it? Of course, whenever you want to find something, you can never find it, eh? So, I highly encourage, if you want to actually become a funded trader, these guys are an excellent avenue. If you're really serious about this, I'd highly encourage you to look at them. But even so, they also have a bunch of free material. They have like morning shows with the Hogue. And maybe, geez, hey, there's Richard Grissom, my buddy. He and I were both at Top Step together. But they got a bunch of morning shows and stuff like that. Really good content for the public. So you guys on YouTube and stuff, I would, do yourself a favor and go visit them. They're really nice people. And, if you got the shit, they'll give you the money to trade. Simple as that. All right, so getting off topic, once upon a time, where are we in Bitcoin? Okay, so does it make sense that if price gets up into this red box, we're going to see some selling pressure? Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. And I might even argue now, 38.2 is doing its job. If we think triangle, you can see that support should come in here. What do you think the odds are that this triangle, this area, is going to be a reload zone from this rally peak back down to these lows? That's it, probably pretty good. Now it just goes zoop and boop. And look at that. Right on that angle. So, if anything, it was funny because in the lounge earlier, Thomas was making reference to some funny times from the past. We used to always comment on this guy. I love watching this GIF. That's the best. But I actually think on a weekly basis, and keep in mind this is weekly here, I actually think we're probably going to be in this GIF. Boing, 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 boing. So can you see the two different players, the range players, basically reload zone short. You can see that somebody just volleyed the ball up into there. Boom, they're whacking it back down. And here is reload long. So if anything, I would argue probably the market's range bound between about, let's call it 17, 18,000 on the upside. We've been spoon feeding coins on the way up, and we got another fill. We actually had to really be really patient for it. But we did get another fill up here at the 61.8. And frankly speaking, I would not be shocked whatsoever to see price come back down into this area, right? What's that? 12,000 to 13.5. As well, another point off the higher time frames that caught my attention earlier today. You know, if this is the top, it's the top, it's the top, whatever the hell that means. I actually just did a little count. And I said, all right, well, how long was it from sort of the highest high that the market registered back in the GOX rally to the point at which I would have actually gotten a pretty juicy sell signal? Can everybody see how this is a reload short zone right here? Mountain Man, geez, this is looking kind of familiar, huh? And then boom, we put in this beautiful inside bar reversal. Shane, can you see that inside bar there? Oops, that's not what I wanted. Right there. Boom, boom, boom. See you later. All right. So, you know, how long did this take to play out? And I did the math, and it seems to me I would have gotten my signal after about 8 weeks. So if we take that 8 weeks concept and go to here, what does 8 weeks give us? All right, so I'm thinking that our big fat sell signal comes in right about here. And I thought that was really interesting because that's basically the beginning of February. And, you know, you've heard me talking about January barometer and all that kind of stuff. Bitcoin started the market out very strong. So I think it basically is following that path of strength at the beginning of the year. I actually think we're probably going to finish relatively near this zone here. But I got to tell you guys, once we're done this 8-week period, I'm going to be watching for a dump probably into this area in earnest. Then we're going to find out whether this thing is actually for real or not. We may go A, B, whatever the ultimate peak here is, C, D, and then put in some sort of reversal and head higher. We'll have to take a look at the internal indicators and see what they're suggesting at this point. I wouldn't be surprised that there's going to be some sort of exploration of this big ass tail and maybe even this candle tail in here just to see if this is an absolutely serious low. And then, you know, the old adage, guys, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. If we lose these levels, what do we always say in the daily brief you ought to do? Anyone? That's right. Look left. Vroom. Next key support is down here. And of course, on a weekly basis, and this is what we've been telling mom and pops for many, many moons now. If you are really serious about investing in Bitcoins, you can't really start thinking about it until we get into big ass weekly reload zones. So, you know, I can see this scenario play out. I don't think this is the dump date. I think we're still very much stuck in this trading range. But given the proximity of where we are relative to the top of the range, it doesn't shock me one bit whatsoever we're finding some resistance coming in up top here. Doesn't surprise me at all. All right, so let's head down to maybe a little lower time frame. We've been looking at this Phoenix chart for a while now, right? Okay, so remember we had said a moment ago institutional fingerprints, right? Didn't I say something about institutional fingerprints? Hey, you guys over on YouTube, did I say anything about institutional fingerprints yet? I seem to remember I talked about it. Have they all gone to sleep? How long is the delay? Mosey Basic. Mose Basic? Is that my Moses? Moses down in Tijuana? Keith, Jersey. Yep. All right. Anyway, I'm going to assume that that we did talk about institutional fingerprints. Can everybody see the institutional fingerprint here? This is on Bitfinex. And I'm finding that a lot of people in this space are really really attuned to Phoenix. So actually I don't mind. Nope, you're in Australia. Okay, well, it's close. I don't I find a lot of people in this space are really jazzed about Phoenix. So I have been sort of studying Phoenix as well as Stamp, sort of side by side for you guys here. But can you see these institutional fingerprints? That's really the question here. And this is the kind of stuff where somebody on YouTube was like, well, I don't know, do you think it's worth $30 a month for a subscription? This is the kind of crap that I give you guys every single day in these daily briefs. Every single day, I'm trying to teach you something that's going to help you make money from trading. That's the key here. And I'm talking to you YouTubers right now. Anyway, the point of the matter here is this is what we call a institutional fingerprint, institutional footprint. There are other people on the net that also teach this concept. And frankly speaking, I don't care what you call it. But I do think if we use the concept fingerprint, it actually makes a lot of sense. Because, and this is a hard concept for new people to understand, but you have to understand the public loses money most of the time at this game. It's just that simple. It's reality. So we have to actually identify how the public acts, and there's another participant in the market, though, that usually does fairly well at this, and we don't really like those people. They're evil, right? There's a guy who stands on stage and calls Bitcoin a fraud. We all know who I'm talking about, right? Those people, they make a lot of money from trading, but they do the exact opposite of what the public does. So if we know, and the cool part about it is we know what the public does, right? It's as plain as day. So if we know that the public FOMOs and chases markets and buys tops, XRP right now, oh God, there's a disaster just waiting to happen, eh? Then what that must mean is that the institutions are doing something completely opposite. And of course, they are the ones who are selling to the public. So I think it's important, and I think hey, there's Sturkey. Hey, Sturk, nice to see you, Slick. I heard that you were in Vancouver. Yeah, that's interesting. We even got Alex Sturk watching our crazy public videos. Imagine that. All right, where were we? So if we understand that the public always loses money and they always chase and they buy tops, then what that should really tell us is those areas are actually really important to us, because it means a couple things. It means, number one, the public maybe just simply ran out of money and they're just exhausted. Their wallets are empty. But it also might mean that somebody else has been selling at those levels so much that they've actually changed the supply demand dynamic of the marketplace. So these levels, like this 2-bar pattern here, and basically in my education programs, I just simply teach it's whatever the ultimate bar was that made the low or the high, plus the preceding bar. Because you have to understand, it takes some time to stop the FOMO public. Like in this case, even though they tried to stop it here, there was still a lot of ammunition left. So you can only really see these levels in hindsight. So don't be going and looking, oh, is this one right now? You'll only see it in hindsight, but it's a really important reference level for us. So does it seem kind of coincidental that as price was pushing up into the bottom of this zone here, somebody came along and said, no, you know what? I think you're done. Isn't that surprising? And the cool part about it is you guys over on YouTube, all of you can do this. You can apply these to your altcoins. You can apply them to shit coins. You can apply them to good coins. I don't really care. This is just simply measuring supply and demand in the marketplace, regardless of what the fundamental story is. So the point of the matter here is, I believe, and of course, if we were over on Phoenix, we were looking at reload zones, weren't we? Yeah. 61.8, there's Mountain Man. He's doing his job, trying to slow this train. The top of this reload zone, we like to call the line in the sand, sort of the last level. Although it's really interesting in altcoins, if you want to make a mental note of this, one of our all-star students, and actually he's going on to the level 3 program. So I have to start saying that Ian is grandfathered on the site. Oh, Jesus. That's scary. He's entering your realm, Tom. Anyway, the point of the matter is, Ian actually pointed out very well, and this guy makes a lot of fucking money trading, so I don't really care what you think of the guy. He makes money, so you listen to what he has to say. But he pointed out that, given the venture capital nature of the altcoin space, and I used to see this happen all the time in venture cap, most of the time, if they go up way too fast, and we got a gazillion of these crazy coins that are just literally going straight up right now. If you have an asset that's going up like this, I mean, just any of them, right? If you have an asset that's going up like this is too far, too fast. It's unsustainable. And at some point, this market's going to have to come back down. And it's really cool, like we talked about line in the sand a moment ago. One of our favorite setups, and I just happened to grab this chart just off the hand. One of our favorite setups that we like to talk about on the site is our Kvark or Shark setup, affectionately named for just an absolute sweetheart of a guy, really good trader. I think he's quite wealthy now. Thanks to the hard work that he's put in this space. But in essence, if you can find situations where you have like market structure, and actually we could even take this back. Where the hell is the end point here? Oh, I hate how TradingView does that. Hold on a second. That was weird. Like an electrical surge going on. Big Brother doesn't like me talking, giving away their secrets. Okay, what the hell are you gonna do in here? Oh, look at that. Crazy prices. Okay, let's try and do this without driving you guys crazy. There we go. Okay. And let's take that back there. Yeah, good enough. So, here's the line in the sand, 78.6. If you can get it to line up off of previous structure levels, oh, we love that. We call that a shark. Don't have a shark icon on TradingView, so we've been throwing on the little knife and fork icon. Basically, the sharks are feeding off of these levels here. Nice tail to work against there too. Nice tail. So just a good example. You can see the levels starting to line up. We haven't even looked at the profile. Let's see what we got here. And we're supposed to be talking about Bitcoin, aren't we? Sorry. So anyway, the point of the matter here is interesting setup, 78.6. Altcoins often, and the reason why I mentioned Ian, altcoins, because, you get this too far, too fast kind of scenario. You could actually use the 88.6 to great effect too to work bids as well. And Ian was finding, you can even see how that tail lines up nicely with the 88.6 fib there. So you can totally see that that's a little liquidity pool, guys like to call it that, right in that level too. Anywhere in here, I'd be more than happy to go shopping for a name like this kind of idea. Consider adding that to your repertoire. Off of the the bigger assets, the Bitcoins, the crude oils, the golds, they often respect 78.6 a little bit stricter. So where were we? 78.6 hasn't even been tagged here yet. We've gotten up into Mountain Man, and you can see, of course, remember we talked institutional fingerprint. You can see there's a lot of resistance coming in here. As well, too, we had a couple things going on here, which I thought was really cool. This trend line here was this sort of CME event, insane, stupid, unrealistic, unsustainable trend line. That was quickly lost, and I had actually put out tweets and stuff, and I put some boxes on these trend lines and sort of drew sort of a step-by-step sort of scale how I thought this would play out. And you can see, and we were tweeting it out, it just went bang right into this trend line. And I think this is sort of the medium term, SegWit's not a problem, business as usual kind of trend line, but I still think it's a bit steep. And as well, what I found really interesting about that was even obeying this trend line, you notice the Mountain Man even did get tagged on this dump down into this level. So we've had a nice technical bounce coming out of it, and you can see the A, B, C, D. Interestingly enough, that D point has not been hit. But I have noticed, and this is more just sort of like a personal observation, I have seen lately that Bitcoin is having a really hard time getting up to these ultimate D points. And I've noticed that they've been stalling recently, just shy of that. You know, if there's anybody on the site that sees Steven, I saw him on the site earlier today. I totally love to talk to him because he's done such a huge amount of work with the harmonics. And I bet that he could anecdotally speak to this failure. Frankly speaking, I'm a little surprised. And if left to my own druthers, my own devices, I still think this level has to be traded to. But only time will tell. The market is a fickle creature. You can see that bang, 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 a move through this low just fired what candlestick pattern? Dun, dun, dun. You know, and this is where Thomas is going, Brian, you do realize Bitcoin price is breaking down here? What do we call this pattern, and this pattern? It's not pretty. Don't get me wrong. Nobody said it was pretty. What do we call it? French toast. No, that's it. Can't you see the empire? It's a fractal. Down a fractal rock, right? See how this high is higher than this high, and this high is lower than this high, and this low and this low. It's not a pretty empire, don't get me wrong, but it is nonetheless a fractal top. And the interesting thing is the fractal fires on the trend line break. Now, what's our rule about trend lines? Should we take an instant trend line break trade like this? You think it's in your best interest? I don't think so. It's dangerous. Yeah, I would prefer, and now you can see that they've, you had the move that established the fractal break. If anything, what I'd really love to see is just a nice, polite little consolidation. Give us a nice little M to work with here for the dump. Now, I doubt that they're going to do that. Trader's life, right? But you never know. A girl can dream. So, let's watch for maybe a nice little counter trend rally up to brush the underside of this trend line now. Looking for, maybe a nice little reload short zone off of this range. That's kind of what I'm thinking. If this thing doesn't get any traction, though, I could very easily see it dump right back down into these levels. If you do have the cojones, I don't know whether, do we have momentum divergence here? Did anybody see if any divergence came in? Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I haven't really got any divs to work with on this. So I don't know. I think I did like the first blush, sort of, if, Mountain Man, if you're going to hit these levels, go for it. But I kind of think that this is a bit dangerous, and it's actually it's kind of a shitty trade location to go short here. Don't you think that's pretty low? All right, so Tom's telling us we should pop down to the 4 hour. So, and I think that's a good place for us to go for a conversation. And there's Tom's divergence. And you can see Willie's nice and stupid. So I don't know whether this is setting up a daily trade or is it setting up a 4 hour trade. And I actually think I saw somebody in the lounge even earlier today said that they thought this was an El Tango Nader. Who was it that said that? Somebody said that. Oh, that was so cool. So we could go boobity boo, All right, so there's the 50% level. Geez, look at those railroad tracks there, eh? Damn, what a signal. Where's the div? Div didn't come in till here, breaks here. Well, I suppose that is that top there. Geez, that's ugly, eh? I don't know. You know, if anything, what I would almost want to see is sure would be nice. I bet you, did this trade set up over in China? Well, I guess this is a Phoenix, so it should have set up here. I think this is too early to call a breakdown here, you know. I don't know. Call me crazy. Moving averages haven't crossed yet. I think if anything, what's happened here is, you know, there is your fractal level. You can see how the fractal level is playing here. I think right now you got a 4-hour and a, is that the, yeah, that's the 200. So we got our moving average sandwich kind of going here. And I think it's off the 13 EMA and the 200 SMA. Interesting, 200 SMA and 30 SMA now are acting as support. So I don't know. I don't think we're ready to break. I do see the div. So if anything, what I want to see now is let's draw some RLZs heading back up. Eh? So, and let's see if we can go boom. Ooh, hello. Something's forming here. I feel tingling in the back of my head. What do I want to do here? 400? Seems to be a high number. Oh, that's too much. Let's go 300. Oh, it is 300. 350. There we go. Okay, so you know, oh, interesting. Thomas, can you see the notch? Oh, look at the top of value right here. So what's happening, I think, right now is we're coming back into these old breakout levels. That's horizontal support and resistance. That's horizontal support and resistance. That's horizontal support and resistance. And now this is probably key support right there, right? And there's your POC. So my hunch is move into here is going to be a move into support. Be careful there, eh, guys? And wherever the ultimate, what time is it? 7:45. So obviously the Asians are not really in a very bullish mood today. Did anybody, were there any wires or anything that came out? Anybody get any news? What do you got there? Agree, waiting on head and shoulders on okay. All right, let's see what you got over on okay. Okay, okay. I like that. That thesis makes sense. And if anything, you know what you probably have here a little bit, Thomas? You have to be careful this. Can you see how this is like a double distribution profile? So this is a profile right here, and then this is a profile down here. So right in here, especially on this old high right there, that's probably there's probably gonna be a bunch of buy orders just sitting right there, right? Be careful there. Was this a Joby gap? VPN ban in China rumor. Okay, well, okay, so that would actually make sense though, right? When I look at my OK coin, spreads, they're at just a pretty insane level anyway. Maybe they could use some calming down, and a nice China ban, VPN ban. That might do it. That might do the trick. Oh, I could respect that. It looks to me like on an hourly basis. Remember we were looking at this chart for a while? Check this out, man. Remember we were watching the vortex here? Look how it came right to that apex and failed. That's crazy, eh? Actually, it didn't quite make it. Oh, no, so it didn't quite. But that's sick, eh? Not quite there. So it looks to me like OK's done. And if we draw our fibs, 38.2. I think I remember earlier. Hey, Thomas, can you see this? So this is sort of that mini profile that we were just talking about a moment ago. So I think there's like a little profile here to here, right? And then the bigger one here, here. So we should see, and I'm surprised really, where's 38.2 is all the way down there, right? Look how 200 period SMAs down there as well. So you know what it looks like to me, Thomas? I think we're going to see the spreads come in here. I don't know whether it's necessarily the cash market's going to crash. I think the spreads have just got to come in. This is just too much. Does that make sense? I don't know. My thoughts on Altcoin right now. You can see though, cash market's coming off here. Let's go take a look at Chicago. Chicago. Where's Chicago? Yeah, I don't know, man. I totally think that this 200 SMA tag here, I think she's going to bounce off of there, right up against there. Let's see how we do. And the problem here is already is that, what, that's $300 lower than where we are? Oh, it's about $100 lower than where we are now. Let's see how we do. I'll put a box on there. Let's see if we just blast right through there. Where's the 38.2 on this? Douche. Oh, it's all the way down to 15. Man, maybe we got to come back to the POC. This could be ugly here. A little bit of a dumpy. I don't like the trade. I certainly don't like the idea of FOMO selling here. I think if anything, the trade, just like Thomas said, is I think you got to wait for the counter trend rally into the reload zone. If you want to be a real shark, hunt tags of this level and short against these highs. You are in the higher time frame reload zone, so it's totally doable. In fact, I might even hunt that too, because I got a whack of money sitting on OK Coin. I'm kind of warming to that trade. And as you pointed out, Tom, I think that's excellent observation. Nasty div, and we might even get a double div here, eh? Brian and his double Ds. Boom, 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 boom. Can you see the double div that's going to come in if we break through here? So we're coming up to a key level. That's that 200 period moving average, the block. I think we bounce here. But I think what happens is this confirms, and then that's the bounce, and that's when Thomas goes into insano stalking mode. What do you think? Does that make sense? All right. Hey, Thomas, you got a microphone? You want to come on and give everybody your 2 cents? What do you think, Chief? Lady sleeping next to me. All right. Well, but she's probably pretty exhausted, though, eh? Hey, could be a man if he had that bent, and there's nothing wrong with that. So it's certainly not a sexist thing. Women have just as much stamina as men. Just to be politically correct and everything all on the up and up. There wasn't anything nefarious about that. Okay, looking at our RSI models, short term. If anything, I think we have to start thinking a little bit longer term. Not a bad idea. We check in with our consolidation face rip scenario. Consolidation sure was a messy face rip, so I'm not quite sure if this thing's still working. But it is interesting how we were supposed to go into 30 bars of rally at the end of that event. And we started a little bit late here, but we have been sort of marching our way higher. I've been wondering, though, whether maybe this is actually going to reverse itself, but nothing really I can take out of this. I thought this was a really interesting scenario, but it completely disconnected on this final blast off here. So that in itself might be a bit of a tell about market state, but we have done a 50% correction of that move. So that is relatively healthy. Sure looks to me, I got to tell you guys, I mean, just looking at this, and you see this, you saw it on the Phoenix chart. But geez, I've been playing this game so long, it sure looks to me like we got to do ba-boom, ba-boom, right down into here. Maybe even come back and kiss that old high, these key levels right in here. We could argue institutional fingerprint here. We've got it marked here. But I wonder if there's going to be so many people sitting there going, please come back here. It just comes to here and it just teases these people. But who knows? Only time will tell. You can see on stamp there is that reversal top. You can see us working our way down. If you did want to trade this, I really like the idea of just letting whatever low develops here come in, hunt for that counter trend rally on the test of these highs. Probably, wouldn't even be surprised me if it comes in maybe through the London kill zone, but I'm probably thinking maybe like New York kill zone first thing tomorrow morning. They're probably dumping it here through Asia, then maybe put in a bottom through the London kill zone, then counter trend rally it through the New York kill zone. And then if this is indeed the top, then we'll fail at these highs. The New York boys will just simply hop off at a very minimal loss. If, however, that is the top, the New York boys are basically given a nice little present, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like panic dumping here, and they're going to have their stops up in here. And the worst part about it is the New York boys will actually use those stops as their liquidity to get short, which is a really good, lesson in liquidity pools and the way that, the big boys sort of operate the market to try and screw the little guy. So maybe if you're on the site, pop on over if what I'm talking about really is a little bit confusing or new to you, and go watch some videos on the various different tools that we use. I think we have I don't think actually I did the videos on volatility measures, but I thought we had. Did I have one in here? Yield curve. Isn't that interesting? I thought I had one on liquidity windows, liquidity events. Anyway, it's in here somewhere. PM me on the site if you need to find it. We can find it together. Anyway, what I'm talking about is the liquidity events. Where are we here? Liquidity events tutorial. So, anyway, there should be a video on the site all about this. Anyway, let's get back to our conversation. So I think I've given you my 2 cents here in the short term. I don't think it's a good idea to sell here. I think you're kind of missed the boat on the short-term trade. If you are going to be hunting shorts, I think Thomas pretty much had it nailed. And you can almost see it developing here. You never know exactly how these, head and shoulders patterns are going to develop. But can you kind of see, and I love using this tool. In fact, I got to do a whole module on it. In fact, I thought I did. It's somewhere in the library too. But if I go boo to boo, right, I'm just going to, all this tool does, and it's the bar pattern. All it does is it just says, okay, what does the price action look like? And you can see I can now move that over. See, there it is. And I can change the intensity of it. And now here's the cool thing is if we understand, think head and shoulders, think fractal, think the Canadian maple leaf. What else is there? Of course, Mandelbrot zoom. If we think that concept of fractal, then what should happen at top should almost look exactly inverse as it works its way down. Check that out, eh? Isn't that cool? If we just literally take this price action, carbon copy of it, flip it over, and look how, here, we'll just sort of shade this now. Look how the market's sort of following that sort of path down. Isn't that cool? Whenever I see that, I always get astounded by that. It always is just like, holy shit. And, here's another thing where you can, if you're watching on Google, if you're, kind of sitting on the fence, do I get any value out of listening to this guy? This is the kind of stuff that we talk about on a daily basis in these videos, and people learn how to use these tools and make money from trading. So you be the judge whether you think the site membership is worth it. I hear in a lot of feedback that people think this is a gold mine. Anyway, that's here nor there. So the point of the matter here is, can you kind of see, number one, that sort of fractal idea, and then Thomas's head and shoulders kind of pattern here? Doesn't always work, don't get me wrong. But can you sort of see that? So, and then of course, we always say if we lose key support levels, what do you want to do? Look left. Oh boy, this is just a face rip drop. That's basically what this is suggesting, right? Back into that 38.2. Come in, fill in all these notches on the profile because the profile, remember, wants to look nice and thick. So I can see over the short term, I can see Thomas's case. And then, like I said a moment ago, and this is where if you really want to be a fucking killer trader, and I mean, the ball's in your court, but I can totally understand killer traders through something like the New York kill zone tomorrow morning are going to be hunting for trade setups, and it just might be like a 5-minute empire. This is going to be a mountain man. This is what we call a reload zone within a reload zone. This is mountain man on mountain man. It's like a double mountain man. Who was it that was a Center? Center, he's still here? Remember, you were like, oh, mountain, he's slick. That's a goddamn double mountain man. I don't see that every day. And of course, it's going to happen right through the New York session so he can get his trade off. So anyway, that would be sort of my short-term prognostication for Bitcoins. I don't know. Did anybody get any value out of that rant? Did that make any sense to anybody? How about you people over on YouTube? Did you get any value out of that? Yeah, I know, Joshua, but you're biased. Broke back mountain, Patagonia peaks. I'm waiting for you, Kevin. Okay, hey, all you guys over on YouTube, you don't even understand. Kevin is a little fucking monster trader. He's evil. He's probably going to own all of us in the not too distant future. So you guys are all just sitting there chatting with this guy Kevin on YouTube, and you don't even know who he is. All right, and nice to see you, sir. Sir, now I have to go, sir. Oh no, Joshua knows jiu-jitsu. Is the shark at the kids' table? Yeah, he said. I don't know, where is Kavark. Is Kavark around here? Kavark, are you over on YouTube? I was talking about Kevin Stanford. But that's Kavark is Kevin. What's his name? I better not say last names. Shouldn't say last names. That's a different Kevin. Sorry. Okay, let's keep moving on. I'm digging myself a bigger and bigger hole here. All right, so you guys want to know what the hell I'm thinking about your shitcoins? Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? I don't know. I hope you guys understand. I have been taking just a ridiculous amount of profits here recently. I'm not buying a hell of a lot right now. I am selling. I literally every single day, I can't keep up. I am selling so much crap. It's not even funny. So please understand, we are very, very active on the sell side. It's not a heck of a lot that I'm in there buying in the market right now. There are a few things that I am buying. Pascal, do you think you got any value out of that? You're saying thanks, Brian. I hope so. Oh, good. Excellent. So, a couple things that I am interested. I'll tell you, I have been buying, for the people on the YouTube audience, I have actually been buying gold lately. I'm very interested in just at least, diversifying our portfolio, if nothing else. We have moved a bunch of Bitcoin over to Binance, and I'm in the process of trying to figure out what the hell their cash proxy is. I think their cash proxy is BNB, but the problem is with that is that the price of the damn thing has just been bid up like crazy. What did I say? Beyonce. Did I mispronounce it? So I would like to try and buy other sites, fiat proxies if I could. So I am very actively looking into that. I told you guys earlier I did get filled on some more Tether US USDT purchases or sales of Bitcoin. So we're extremely heavy on all that. I see somebody is decided to eat dinner while they're watching the show. If you wouldn't mind just throwing yourself on mute, totally appreciate that. I mean, I suppose I could show you. It's almost amusing, really. I mean, can I be a buyer into this kind of market? You guys read what's on the screen. Are these buying levels or selling levels? This is a bit of a problem that I have right now, right? I can't really be buying a heck of a lot, and I have been selling a hell of a lot, and my hunch is I'm going to be selling more. It is interesting that we were talking about Ripple. Actually, I'm going to be using Ripple as my proxy for when this nutsomeness is over. Do you guys remember on the site through the week, we did our volume impetus study here? And I've just been patiently waiting and watching for Ripple to basically tell us that this rally is done. Hasn't happened yet. And I think that's really important for people to understand. This has not broken down yet. So we'll know based on our volume impetus study that if we do a day less than 54.8 million units of whatever the hell these damn things are, then we'll know that the bull has fallen asleep. And we did 58 right here. Bull hasn't fallen asleep. And up we go. We did, what did we do here? 74 million. Hasn't fallen asleep yet. 57 million. No, hasn't fallen asleep yet. Now, the interesting thing about this is because we've done 57 on this day, we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 peaks. Because remember, this was 58.4. So, I mean, geez, you can't write better fiction than reality of this shit. We could make an argument that there is a volume top that's developed here. What do you think? Can you guys see the very simple divergence? Remember we talked about this a week or two ago? There's a problem here. And anybody watching on YouTube and all that kind of crap, if you really want to learn how to trade and make money from trading, you have to learn this. This is a problem technically. I remember when Bitcoin broke down in like, I think it was July 2014. It did exactly this. It was textbook. Do you guys remember about 4 or 5 months ago? Remember we did it was BCC. You remember we did the volume impetus study on BCC? Totally nailed it perfectly. The problem here, though, is that this is in what we call divergence. This is not sustainable. You have a market that's making higher highs, but on lower buying interest. So at some point, this will have to resolve itself. I am quite interested, and I didn't realize that we actually have this high, and now this day here is actually lower than this day. So technically speaking, we can actually argue that there is this pattern working now because of this day here. So that kind of changes my opinion a little bit. I didn't realize that. So we have to pay attention. Something's not right here. And for heaven's sakes, for God's sakes, I certainly hope nobody at TRI is buying this. It's very amateur, and sadly, it's a very easy way for you to lose your money. So, and I used to do, in fact, Alex was watching over there on YouTube. We used to do a show on TradingView. The enemy of TradingView, excuse me. Coinigy. We used to do a show with Coinigy. And I'm hearing that we might actually get one of those going again here in the not too distant future. So I am super excited about that, and it's great that Alex actually popped on the site, so he's around these days. And actually, I think he told me that he's here in Vancouver. So I have to get off my butt and go and buy him another $40 plate of nachos again. Jesus Christ. Good old Vancouver. Just in case you didn't know, does anybody know what BC stands for? Actually, you know what, Alex, are you still there over on YouTube? Yeah, there you are. January 17th? That's, when is that? That's next Wednesday? Is that when it's going to be? Is that when you want to do this thing? Let's maybe, Alex, if you're there, can we maybe shoot to do like a Vancouver meetup or something like that? Maybe like this Friday or Saturday? Where are you, Alex? You're over on YouTube. Anyway, I don't know how long it's going to take for you to hear this question. It's crazy, YouTube. Anyway, DM me or something on the site, because I know I want to introduce you to Tenjay. Are you here? Doubles, it's nice. Where's Tenjay? Anyway, he was here in Vancouver. You got to meet Jesse. It was great. I don't know whether you saw that picture of Jesse. So we got to get you and a picture of Tenjay. And who else do we have there? We had Sanjay and his wife. They came in from overseas, so we won't get them. But Tenjay's gonna have like a picture set of like all of like the crypto superheroes. Okay, so back to my story. We got no business buying XRP here. Little concerned, actually, now that I've done this, that we actually might have a volume impetus sell signal here, so that's interesting. If anything, if for this thing to really dump hard, what do we need to see here? We'd like to see the bears, the red bars, we'd like to see them ramp here. So you can see here is a down bar. If the sellers step up and we start to see higher highs and higher lows on the red bars, then my hunch is the bull's done. It's over. Until that happens, though, this thing might just go into drift mode. But I actually definitely do absolutely think, without a shadow of a doubt, the bulls have actually fallen asleep here. So that's interesting. Don't go and buy this, please. It's just not worth it. And really, that kind of makes sense too, guys. I mean, this is getting a little bit out of control, isn't it? I mean, is this, I mean, maybe you guys are old market veterans and you see this all the time, but this is kind of a one-way market, isn't it? This is one of Alex's one-way markets. I think this is what they call a rise-only market, right, Alex? At some point, I hope everybody understands here. You can see it. You can see it. At some point there, it's nice to see this e-boost is bucking the trend. But I can see it now. And if anything, what should happen here, guys, is get your bids working. What fib level do you think Kavarkinator's probably paying attention to off of all of these charts? And there might actually be some really quick free money. How about Joshua? Do you think Joshua's in here looking for gaps that were made on the way up here? My hunch is he is. Well, I just went and bought a shitload of ETC, so I sure hope so. Well, I didn't buy a shitload, but I just added. I like that ETC chart. So if ETH is breaking out, that's music to my ears, bud. Where is that? Yeah, I love this in here. So right on. Let's go take a look at ETH. What the hell? Actually, you know what? Here, this is exactly what I think is going to happen, guys. Do you see how if we drew a fib off of these insane highs, look how the market just comes back and slams into the reload zone. And now you can see these pot coins. Can everybody see the inside bar reversal right here? Andrew, can you see that? So we slam into the reload zone, trade location. If you wanted to, you could be looking for signs of divergence, whatever. Got this nice little reload zone within a reload zone. Can you see how we get like a reload zone within a reload zone here? So exactly opposite to what we did on Bitcoin earlier. And that paints just a sick-ass trade level in here. And what is this 2-bar pattern called? Boom, boom. I don't know. Anybody? That is an inside bullish. We can't call it a harami. We like to call it a bull rami. So I think that was a nice juicy buy signal here. And now you can see this thing's climbing its way back up. That's kind of what I think you're going to see happen on a lot of these is I think, this SC. God, I remember so many people laughed at me when I bought this thing. But does it make sense, guys, that this thing could actually work its way all the way right back down to this original market structure level? And I bet you guys like Joshua are drilling down to like the 1 hour charts and hunting for gaps all down in here. What do you think, Joshua? Would you do that? Is that not a very fair assessment of, how do you say that? Speaking, I don't know. Bid's working. I took the words out of my mouth. All right. So you can see, tails. And then, what I said earlier, whenever is going to be a new member of the alumni at TRI, which scares the hell out of me. He wants to follow that 88.6. Oh, and look how the 88.6 lines up off of that market structure level. That's ridiculous. Okay. So if I was interested in buying this, now I've got my shopping location. And into this event, I want to see signs of divergence. I want to see structure, blah, 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 to get me in on the buy side. So what do you think, guys? Can I buy something like this at all right now? Can I even think about buying this now? Should know what the answer is. So with that said, let's pop on over and let's take a look at, you want to look at Ethereum in US dollars or in versus Bitcoin? Bitcoin tastes great. All right, well, let's start with Bitcoin. ETC, BTC, let's go over on Trex. Nothing really to write home about here. It looks actually very similar to sort of that ETC chart. Oh, look at that, 38.2. So I would say ETC is still down here, trying to turn. This guy's already turned back up. So relative to Bitcoin, I think it makes sense. We're going to run into a bit of traffic here. You've got not only fibs, and probably if we throw in a volume profile on here, I bet that there's some business up here. Yep, this is the top of value. So let's, does everybody understand the concept of value? If not, basically value is the purple area. It's where 70% of all volume traded. And we actually have a very simple rule, although I don't think it's really applicable here. We usually say if the market can reverse and go back into value, then 80% of the time it should visit value high. So that's what's going on now. So we've got value high, kind of like what I was talking about with Thomas earlier. You can see that we actually have a double distribution here. In fact, you could even argue there's a triple distribution here. As well, we have very well-defined what we call POCs, or points of control. What you often see is that traders are very interested in this part of the profile. It's kind of like price wants to kind of go back and forth through here. All right, Brian, get you silly potty mouth. I only got one chuckle though, eh? I always love doing that where I just, yeah, it's to try to be subtle. Anyway, so looking at the profile here, 38.2 makes sense. We're up at the top of a notch. There's a hole in the profile here. There's some unfinished business. We usually like to put like a big heart right there, and we like to call that a muwak. And of course, based on Brian's colorful little anecdote there a moment ago, I think you can understand why we like to call it the muwak. And muwak in Spanish stands for kiss. This is going to be a tough fight here. My hunch is that, think institutional fingerprints, but now I want you to be thinking about previously trapped bulls, because this is actually kind of important if you to understand the concept of capitalism. Does it make sense that there were guys that were pitched ideas to buy this thing through here? And really through here. And then through here. And through here. And really you could argue through there. There are people that actually went and bought this thing. They bought. That's why these wicks look the way that they do. They are long from all of these levels. And I remember we used to do those Coinigy shows with one of the guys that founded the site. And he bought Litecoin, right out of the gate back in like 2013, 2014 bull market. Like any public person, didn't do anything wrong, just very typical capitalist, hey, this is really interesting asset. The price is going up. I'll go and buy some. And we used to joke that he was basically sleeping on the couch, like Mark says, for a few years. And really the question was, could he ever see price get back to his purchase price just so he could get off of sleeping on the couch? Get out of the doghouse, that kind of stuff. So think of capitalism the same way. There are a bunch of people that bought here, bought here, bought here, bought here, bought here. And really, you can see the back and forth. I mean, this was pretty active. They would love nothing more than to be released. So as a result, we like to call this horizontal support and resistance. In essence, each of these levels is super important, because they basically represent a whole bunch of people that would be more than happy that if price got back up into this area, they'll be happy to liquidate and just get their money back. So you can sort of see that, is it a good idea to be a buyer of this asset right here? What do you think? And actually, Mr. Thomas is here. He's affectionately made reference to a guy that I used to take really seriously. And if you ever meet this guy, he's like Mr. Serious up the ass. So I find it hilarious that we've changed his reference to something really funny. Yeah, if you ever meet this guy, Thomas, he's going to be so funny. But anyway. So I don't want Thomas to answer, and really I'd like it to resonate, because I find that in trading, and this is why I do things like Muox and Mountain Man and Line in the Sand and all that, the more colorful, the more imaginative, the more action, the more insane, zany the idea is, the easier you're going to remember it. So what are we going to give this level its name now? And I thought it was hilarious because it's perfect. But I don't know whether do we have an icon in here that's I think somebody said there's like a flame icon, isn't there? I guess there's this. That's not really a flame. But who can help me? What's the name we're going to call this now? And I think it's great. There you go. Is that a flame? Sort of. Anyway, futon. Is that what that is? That's a futon? Make it red. All right, there we go. Well, I suppose in this case, yeah, it would be red, wouldn't it? I would actually prefer, to be honest with you, because are we supposed to take a trade here, Joshua? Are we supposed to take action here, Joshua? That's why I like to actually color this when you see my charts. I'll usually color it like teal. So the point of the matter here is I don't really think this is the best trade location. And also, too, if we're thinking that, Bitcoin itself might counter trend rally, coming back up into head and shoulders territory. I don't know. I mean, really, I couldn't justify buying this here. Couldn't do it. Sorry. Just can't do it. And really, my hunch is kind of like what I was showing you earlier. I don't know where this exhausts. I like to teach people and anybody who is sort of inspecting and considering levels. I like to teach people that the easiest sort of profit objective for us to learn and use on a regular basis, it was the first one I learned, was the 50% rule. Can you see that? 50% rule. So if I was hunting longs off of here and I was building setups to be long, I would actually be using this 50% level as my profit objective. Who was asking about ETH earlier? Somebody was. So whoever was asking about it earlier, I don't necessarily think this is a trade location. I definitely could not buy this. I think if anything, we're coming into resistance. We're coming up to the top of value or where people are interested in doing business. I wouldn't even be surprised. This might be one of those, and then we went after this stops kind of scenario. If this thing trades on margin exchanges, which I'm sure it does, there's probably a bunch of stop loss orders that traders are going to try and go after to try and sort of flush out weak hands. Does that make sense? To go long here, I think we want to, number one, who can help Gary? What is the very first thing that we want to try and determine if we're thinking about building a trade setup? There must be something. And yeah, thank you, Joshua. I was going to go into the rant, but you saved me a lot of breath. And Gary, is there some sort of trade location tool that you've heard us talk about even tonight? And if I ask a question like that, odds are probably the answer is yes. First letter starts with an R. Meow. Thank you. Gary, are you with us? Hello. Oh, did I blow the sound system out? Gary? Hello, Gary. Come in, Gary. Where are you, Gary? Oh, now Gary's gone shy. All right. Didn't mean to embarrass you. There he is. RLZ. Yay. So when I do RLZ, do you see our trade location window jumps out at us? Boink. Boom. All right. Now, what is step number 2? We have entered RLZ. Now what do we need to do? Who can help out Gary? What is step number 2? I actually get a really good one that comes in here. Kind of messy though. We want to see some sort of signs of a divergence. We want to see that, number 1, and here you can see that this thing really higher highs and higher lows. It was just rocking and rolling here. We crapped out and lost these levels. Traders, that happens. You know, if you were hunting along, say off of this double bottom, playing this divergence, and you went long through here, maybe even bought this reload zone. If you didn't take some profits here, then you got stopped out. Shit happens. It's a trader's life. I remember we talked about this repeatedly recently in daily brief videos. I talked about Linda Bradford Radke and how she says, well, don't give up after one setup because the second setup often works. And so here you can see that, yeah, this double bottom failed, but then this double bottom came in and woohoo, party central. So my hunch is, and again, we had a nice Willie stupid condition here. Willie actually went stupid again here, which is interesting. That's a great window when that happens. Didn't get the MACD div that I would have liked to have seen here off of this move. But I can definitely understand that, yeah, the first setup failed. I love the location. Let's go after this second setup, and that one seems to be working really well. And as I said, had you taken these setups, there's an inside bar here. You could have hunted right off of the original line in the sand. Double bottom here. I don't know. There's a bunch of different things you could probably hunt through all this. Moving average cross. Nice little inside bar reversal there. In fact, that's a gravestone doji buy signal right there. Lots of reasons to get long. But as we're now coming above value, we said that we just hit 38.2. We're now approaching these key highs and the 50% level. There's no way in hell I could buy this. No, I couldn't touch it. And if I was thinking about entering, I would take my fib and I would draw it back there. And this is cool because now can you see that this reload zone is actually going to line up nicely off the 78.6. I love 78.6, which is also 78.6 is going to line up off that original double bottom, which is a Kavark. And this also would get us long below value down here. See that? Down here, which is where you want to be a buyer. So I love the idea of hunting longs down in here. The problem with Ethereum, though, I don't know whether you guys are aware of this. I personally doubt you're going to see Ethereum come back down here. Has anybody studied what Ethereum did at the end of last year? So whoever was asking about this is a really good study in seasonality. And you should really have been on your, your watch if you were an Ethereum bull. Really, I think you should have just been accumulating here into the end of the year. Just force yourself to be just averaging in here. But this is what Ethereum did at the end of last year. So do you see how it came down? It bottomed into December, and then it jumped up. Gee whiz, this looks kind of familiar. You see the double bottom here. This particular case, we didn't have to have two bottoms. It was just one bottom that formed. But do you see that bottom? Jumped up, and now this is what I think is going to happen. Everybody's going to want, just like whoever it was who asked, everybody's going to want to try and get in down here, but she's just not going to come down. That's what I think is going to happen. But again, and I don't know whether any of you new people to the site know this. That's Brian's opinion. Anybody have a current bid on Brian's opinion? It's not very high. All it is an opinion. 600 grand. Thanks, man. All it is an opinion. Take it for whatever it's worth. But my hunch is I wouldn't be surprised if, again, 50% level, 38.2. I think this thing's going to come and it's going to do something like this. And then if this thing is still a bull, up we go. If it's a bear, down we go. This was a V bottom, and it'll probably be tested in earnest. Last year, like we said, we showed you the scenario where it was all bull. Away we go. Can't buy it here. Got to wait for some sort of consolidation. Ideally, nice, healthy, happy bull. She just quietly comes down, consolidates through here, puts in a nice W, and away we go. We'll see what happens. But can't touch it here. Yeah, it's going up. And if anything, like I said, I'd be sitting there. If I was long, I'd be sitting there going, okay, come on. 0.0898. Got orders working. Come on, give me a fill, baby. Come on, give me a fill. Right? So I would be on the other side rooting for higher prices to come into my levels so I could exit the trade. Does that make sense? Hope so. Okay, so that's Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Now let's do Ethereum versus US dollar. ETH USD. One meow. All right. Where do we want to do this? Do we want to stay on Bittrex, or do you want to go to one of these other exchanges? Up to you guys. GDAX. Is that Coinbase? All right. Up, up, and away. Dun, 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 so is Bitcoin rallying right now? Where's Bitcoin? What? Oh, I'm over here. Okay, I want to be over here. So, what's Bitcoin doing? Oh yeah, so okay, it's catching a bit here. All right, that makes sense. All right, where should we do this? Where's the best place to do this? Well, I think probably that other site, but what's probably best is I don't know like Coinbase when you have these nutso tails here. So let's see if we can find a better chart. What's Stamperoni looking like? It's a little better. Not quite as much data though, eh? ETH. How about Phoenix? That's probably pretty liquid. There you go. Nice and liquid. All right. Excuse me. Well, what do you think? Is this a bull or is it a bear? I think the answer is pretty straightforward. We could probably Here's the problem though with measuring assets on a linear scale versus log scale. So if we're trading something like, that's interesting. If we're trading something like crude oil, right? It's not likely that we're going to see, $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 a barrel. So when you do levels like bot or gold or something like that, you don't really expect them to grow geometrically. But I do believe to a certain degree that we actually, I've always wondered how this would be done in crypto. But I guess it makes sense if something like Ethereum if they issue tokens, they technically can grow at an exponential rate. So I wonder if maybe, looking, especially this is where Alex starts to drool, because of course that's what Ubik is, right? I wonder if it actually makes more sense when we're analyzing these assets that can grow geometrically to actually look at this asset like that. Isn't that a different picture? Sure changes the conversation, eh? So if we look at this geometrically, I'm not even quite sure where we should go off. Maybe we'll go off of that low. There. I've often run into this with when you draw harmonics and stuff off of geometric charts. They just don't work very well. And if I do something like a ray chart here to here, then I try and project that going forward. Watch what happens. Oh, what the fuck? All right. So it works to a certain degree. We are, interestingly enough, at that level now. I wonder. That's pretty close. That is that AB equals CD concept. Just is very hard to work with. Okay, these because it's very difficult to see. But you can see we've blown through that objective too, no doubt about it. I think probably remember we saw Dash do this. I suppose Bitcoin itself went through this process. I suppose we could start drawing, like parking garage extensions. I'm trying to think about geometric growth. So, like that. Actually, here, let's go like that. And let's go like that. Oh, this is going to get crazy. So, and did you say, Thomas, that you did an extension level study earlier today? I seem to remember you said something like that. Interesting to see what your levels are. Okay, so there is basically our parking garage analogy. Boom, 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 boom. This is in essence nothing more than just a replication of that range. So if that's the case, I hate to say it, guys, but really that means that our next one has to go off of this consolidation low up to this high. So our next extension level is where are we here? Boom. Oh, that was right. Yeah, there we go. All right. So there you go. This thing's painting 1312 to 1589. And what we should see is if we go 400%, yeah, that's pretty close. So remember we did, do you guys remember we did Amanda's Penthouse? Does anybody remember Amanda's Penthouse? That was so much fun. I wonder where she is now. I wonder if she's even in crypto anymore. So yeah, Alex, you should look at this chart and go, oh, you big. That guy's gonna be richer than all of us. Yeah, mark my words. That Alex Sturks guy's gonna be richer than all of us put together. Well, maybe not Thomas, but anyway. Okay, so who was asking for ETH levels? Somebody was asking for ETH levels. Stephen Renton, it's in the library. Look under the fib retracements. I see your question, Stephen, in the lounge, and that is the answer. All right. So here was my interpretation of fib extensions. All right, so let's see. Here, and I'll just, I don't know, is the person who asked for this even here anymore? I hate when they do that. Anyway, hey, great to see you, Keith, and can't wait to be manhandled by your group. and you got what? You have to make sure Raph is wearing pants. All right, you keep that guy in line. Right, no promises. All right, so let's see what Thomas has got for us. So I posted that extension level chart in the lounge, whoever asked for the ETH levels. And did I post the BTC levels? I think, I would be shocked if 1313, look at that, it's going to be 1313, 13, 12, 21. And isn't that interesting? 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1. I mean, I've just totally eyeballed these. I don't know if it's totally accurate, but I'm always a big numbers man, so it's interesting how that all comes together there. But I would be shocked if this wasn't hit. Now, can everybody see the problem here? Is this being actually driven by new buying interest? No. Thank you, Shane. Meow. How do you say no in meow? Meow. 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 Where's that? Where's Neo? Yes. Tom, that's smart. So the point here is that unless we actually see some serious buying interest come in here, we have to understand this isn't sustainable. Everybody sees as plain as day where value is here. And the shitty part about this, guys, is do you see the hole in the profile here? I'm not saying it's going there tomorrow, right? The path of least resistance definitely now is up. And frankly speaking, seeing the orgy going on in crypto, I don't think that should surprise anybody. January barometer, yada, yada, yada. But at some point down the road, this is going to clean itself up. No doubt about it. The question is when. So enjoy. And for heaven's sakes, if you did take longs off of this, I can see a really cute little double bottom. Remember, we did the fibs. This is the reload zone. I suppose you could even argue this is one big ass bot setup here. That got you into here. There is cute little setup, double bottoms in here. Maybe you were hunting like a shark, lower time frames to try and sneak your way in here. If you're a bull, right? You want to just, if anything, I absolutely love to just use the moving averages to help you try and get in. Moving average checks, hunt for a candle setup. If you're a bull, get your butt in there, right? You could argue this is a really cool little trade setup. What do we call this? Actually, it didn't really set up that well. But if we had set up off of here, that would have been a perfect Ron Jeremy. But yeah, this didn't really set up that well. This one actually was over here. Check that. Oh, perfect. So here's a great little setup that actually a guy that I worked with back in like 2013, 2014, we actually even named the setup off of him. And it was so cool because he had a buddy of his who took the course, and he actually took a trade based on his setup that we learned years ago on this ADA, and it worked brilliantly. It was just like absolutely textbook perfect. I think it was, I don't think it was this. Was it this exchange? No, you know what? I think it was in US dollars. Oh, no. Maybe it was BTC. Anyway, I haven't seen him on the site. I think he's away right now. But where did we trade that? Was it Bitrex? Where was Bitfinex? Does that make sense? Did you guys trade this thing on Bitfinex? Have I got the symbol right? Wasn't it what was the coin that took off recently? That was it. I think it was that one. I seem to remember he was on Bitfinex. Bitmex. Oh well, I'm just blabbing. Anyway, maybe it was right here. Not really great. I suppose you could argue that is a double bottom. It's not the best one, but this little breakout there. Nice buy. And actually, this is a really good example of Wyckoff. So can you guys see how the market didn't really check this too well, but market puts in a double bottom, breaks out, comes back, checks the original breakout. Puts in a double bottom, breaks out, comes back, checks the original breakout. Those are, if anything, it's really hard to do, guys, but try, if you do see an asset pop up like this, try not to chase it up here. And believe it or not, there are guys that are just going to work their bids right off of that. And in this particular case, you just get an absolute gift. Anyway, sort of off topic. Sorry about that. I think, I think it was like a 4-hour chart that he was trading off of. It was a really cool example. Yeah, maybe this was it here. There to there. That's not bad. 1, 2, 3. Nice little structure there. I think I would have really liked this buy signal right in there. Right off of there. Break the trend line. Check the trend line. Check the original bottom. Breakout. Even came back and checked the breakout right against the moving averages. Took off. No looking back. Great trade. Anyway, so we had a setup. We called it the Ron Jeremy setup. And actually, this might have been here. 1, 2, 3. Breakout. I don't know whether I would have taken this breakout here. That might have been it. That's the tough one. But I definitely could have justified going long here, risking against these lows, this bigger double bottom. Awesome trade. And of course, what do you think, guys? Would you be happy with that kind of trade? Woohoo! Holy Jesus. That's making some money. Right now, would I buy this here? Wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Right? Simple as that. Okay, I've been talking forever. I have no idea how long I've been talking, but I hope you guys have enjoyed this presentation. I think I'm done. So let's leave it at that. Quick overview. Crypto kids, I sure hope you're making lots of money. Just a fantastic market. Actually, I am in here buying some of these new bits. I bought a little bit more of this recently. Banging out doubles right, left, and center. Just absolutely insane. Big site improvement coming up here very shortly. We're transitioning to a whole new site. New level 1 program starting as soon as that site's up and running. Level 2 and level 3ers, you've got your invites. So basically you guys are ready to go. If you have questions, feel free to ask. We should probably set up the level 2 and 3 Telegram groups now. James, Garrett, if you want to participate, the invitation's open. Graham, Thomas, James, I think even Garrett to a certain degree. Benjamin sure would totally offer it to you too. TRI has the open tutorial system. So if you want to put yourself into the tutorial system, anybody who's graduated from the program, I'm more than happy to endorse you helping new people out, build trading plans, get rocking and rolling. Tom, you too, if you're interested. And of course, it's an income generator for you. If you want to make some money at this, you can. So we got lots of stuff on the go here at TRI. The market is just flying. I find it really ironic that our old WordPress website actually kind of shot us in the foot here, reporting performance. But even with the erroneous reporting of ZCL, right now the account, I'll just give you a quick blush. I don't really care, but I want to make sure nobody is feeling like I'm pulling one over on them. But where the hell is that damn spreadsheet? One of these pages. Spreadsheet, where are you? Are you over here? Oh, you're over there. There you are. I do a daily manual reckoning of all the assets just because I don't trust computers. And I think we are sitting, whoops, wrong direction. Right now, as of this morning's calculation, now we're going to have to readjust this for current Bitcoin price. But we're sitting at about $750,000. So, and what's really good here is that it's very spread out. If anything, I'm still a little too concentrated in Trex. I'm going to want to move a bit more over to, we just opened up the Binance account. So we're just starting to get funded. These alts here, this is actually your referral business. So thank you very much for using your referral links. Awesome. And this number will be correctly reported on the new site. The problem, I'm not going to name names, but there is a program that does an API that tries to amalgamate all this data, and it's not doing that great of a job lately. So as a result, it's actually giving you a very erroneous number. We're not going to be using them anymore. We're going to manually calculate everything on our end on the new site. So feeling totally jazzed about that, totally stoked. If anybody wants, I can give you the manual breakdown of all the values. It's no skin off my back. And just understand, like I had someone the other day actually PM me, holy shit, Brian, I totally used your altcoin model as a reason for my trading. And if it rolls over, I just go on the sidelines. What the fuck's going on here? And I'm like, relax. It was an API issue. The market's not falling apart. So I just wanted to go on record. Everybody understand that. Okay, I feel talked out. Glad to see that we had a pretty full lounge here. So hopefully, if you guys feel like you got some pretty good value out of my rant here tonight? I hope so. I think hopefully everybody understands what my expectations of Bitcoin is in the short term. I think we got some RLZ ping pong. Enjoy the consolidation. Make money where you can. You know, I showed you those charts. Ethereum now doing the same thing. We're in a face rip rally market. Book those profits. Pay yourself. Make sure to reward yourself for your hard work. You know, those guys that were in here in October, November, December, day in, day out, working my bids. You know, there's a reason why Joshua is doing as well as he is. You know, all those gap fills getting filled. Now he's just laughing all the way to the bank. That's what you got to do in this game to make money. So don't chase. There's lots of charts. In fact, we never even got to it, but I totally think there's one market that's totally waking up here. And there's tons of charts on this thing. I've got coins sitting in RLZs. You know, obviously this is going to be a conversation about fundamental quality of the asset, and is the market sort of moving down the food chain? That's another conversation altogether. I'm here just to make money from trading, and I'm following the chalk marks. So, you know, play for a position of strength. Define, Doge. I mean, we've done very well on Doge. I think everybody in the community did, so that's good. Define what it is that gets you to act. Try and hold yourself to account. Keep track of your actions. Are you actually doing what you say you're going to do? There are a number of supports and tools that we can teach you how to get you to do what you say you're going to do. But the number one part out of all this is you got to know yourself. You got to know what you can handle and what you can't. We can build different risk strategies given your sort of temperament for risk. But the key there, of course, is we got to know who you are. Got to set you up for success, and that means building a plan all around what works for you. I've been doing this now in crypto for 4 years. I just had another gentleman the other day thank me for making him a millionaire. I had a gentleman even today tell me that he's halfway to being a millionaire starting with $10,000 just a couple of years ago. It works. This stuff works. You want to get rich? It works. But the key here is you got to act like a professional. Got to buy when institutions are buying. You got to sell when the public is acting like idiots. Okay, guys, you have yourselves a great evening. See everybody in the lounge first thing tomorrow morning for a daily brief. And let's go and rock this thing. Woo! Party on! All right, bye, everybody. And bring the barbecue. Bye, everybody. Toodaloo.